If you are looking for more magic in your life, if you have the sense that there is more to life than meets the eye, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to my weekly podcast, Soul Ventures. Episode 9, What If? This week, I will share with you 2 words to transform the way you think about things. And we will explore the concepts of language and time and discover if there is more to these than at first appears. And all in the time it takes for you to breathe, reboot, and have a cup of tea. Once you start exploring with me, you will reconnect with the true essence of you. That what makes you, you. And you will realize that wherever you are on this round, beautiful planet, all roads lead you home. So let's enjoy the ride. Part 1. What if? There are 2 words that throughout human history have had the power to transform our reality. What if? These are the words of inventors, of writers and artists, of innovators, of entrepreneurs, of anybody else with the capacity to imagine a different way of doing things. By asking these 2 words and applying them to any situation, we have the ability to reframe things and see things differently. Seeing things differently from other perspectives helps us gain clarity. Perhaps you've heard the story of the yoga teacher and the clock. A yoga teacher is leading a meditation class when all of a sudden a clock on the wall crashes to the floor. The class is shaken for a moment, but not stirred, because without missing a beat, the yoga teacher says, "Time is an illusion." Calm is restored and the class continues. This story makes me laugh, but it also makes me think. What if time were an illusion? Part 2. Is time an illusion? What we in the Western world consider as time does not necessarily correspond with that of other civilizations. For example, picture a timeline, the past, present, and the future. You will probably, and without too much effort, make a mental model of some form of line where the past appears at a certain distance from the present, and that the future is marked at some point closer to the opposite end of the line. When I am teaching English language learners how to form sentences correctly and talk about themselves and the world around them, I use timelines to explain the various verb structures and show how we talk about the past, present, and the future. Our idea of time is linear. The words we use reinforce the idea of time as moving in a straight line from the present towards some point in the future. We measure time absolutely. The past is literally and figuratively behind us. By contrast, Mandarin speakers conceptualize time as being both linear and vertical. I have heard the expression time is an illusion many times, as I'm sure you have too. But I hadn't really paid a great deal of attention to it until last weekend when I watched a film about aliens. Normally, this would be the last type of film I would watch, but this one was different. Arrival centers around a professor of linguistics who's been pulled in by the US military to communicate with a group of aliens who have suddenly and mysteriously appeared in various different countries. The whole world is thrown into a state of chaos as the leaders of these countries argue about the best way to deal with the situation. Time is of the essence, and the military leaders want the linguists to ask the aliens what their purpose on Earth is. Are their intentions peaceful? The linguist points out the complexities involved in finding out this information when neither she nor the aliens share a common language. How can we even be sure, she asks, whether they understand the concept of a question or an answer? The idea of time presented in the film was non-linear. Perhaps you could describe it as three or maybe even four-dimensional, where events overlapped even simultaneously and not in the sequence we might expect. Part 3: Language acquisition. We are all born with the capacity to communicate, which is useful should we ever find ourselves face to face with an alien, as the linguist professor discovers in Arrival. No matter what language we speak, our brains are already equipped to help us do this, to make sense of the world or worlds around us. Every living being, it seems, has some capacity of understanding, some desire to connect with others around us, some realization that we are already, on some level, connected. Noam Chomsky stated that the ability to learn language is hardwired into our brains and that children have an inborn faculty for language acquisition. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, or linguistic relativity, suggests that the language we use shapes our perception of reality, influencing how we think about the world. When we apply this idea of the language we use shaping our perception of reality, we see how this shapes our whole concept of time. Think about the words we use for time. In the Western world, we tend to view time as a resource, something we spend or exchange in exchange for something else. In general, we are paid money in return for our time at work. Think of the words we use with time: spending time, a waste of time, I don't have enough time, time is money, and so on. Now, if I can even use words such as now after this, what if time is an illusion? Would this change the way you viewed things or did things? Would you live differently? What would your life look like and what would you be doing? Louise Banks, the linguist in the film Arrival, narrates at one point in the film, "We're so bounded by time, by its order, but now I'm not so sure I believe in beginnings and endings. There are days that define your story beyond your life, like the day they arrive." This concept of breaking away from the concept of beginnings and endings challenges us to reframe our perception of time, and therefore gives us the chance to expand our perception of how we think about the world around us. The magic of applying those two little words, "what if," can transform your perception. When you transform your perception of something, you change the way you think about it. When you change the way you think about it, you can change the way you feel about it. And when you change the way you feel about something, that is when true magic happens. If you would love to receive more inspiration, more golden nuggets about how to harness the magic of words and the language of your soul, then I invite you to subscribe to my newsletter and read my blog at www.iamjennywilson.com. Edward Sapir said that language is the most massive and inclusive art we know, a mountainous and anonymous work of unconscious generations. This idea that we have access to vast resources of information because we are born with this capacity to communicate is closely linked to my belief that we all have a wealth of inner wisdom that's available to us at any moment when we choose to tap into our subconscious and listen to what it wants to tell us. I am here to help you remember it, to put it to use, so that you can transform your life and remember your purpose. My intention over the course of these episodes is to get you back on track so that you can enjoy the rest of your journey here on Earth. In the next episode, I'll be talking more about the magic of words. Until then, happy traveling. If you enjoyed this episode, you're very welcome to subscribe to my podcast. If you know somebody else who might be interested in it, feel free to share it with them. To find out more, visit my website at www.IamJennyWilson.com. Here you can find details of how you can download my free PDF ebook, The Hidden Language of Colour. Go to IamJennyWilson.com and follow the free ebook link. You can also find out details of my books on my website. The books are available from whichever version of Amazon is local to you. Or you can follow me on Instagram at IamJennyWilson. Let's reconnect next time and explore more of the universal language of the soul. In the meantime, keep expanding and enjoy the journey.